As a satirist, I've heard the stock standard view most Australians have on politics, but recently, much like Coke Lime, there's been a refreshing twist on an old classic, and that is...
It's time for someone with some fucking fresh ideas in Canberra, and Clive Palmer's the man. Good start with those billboards, mate. I've never seen a slogan even close to that fucking original in my entire life.
Oh, interesting. And what exactly do you like about Clive?
He's gonna run this country like he runs his business, mate.
What? Into liquidation?
No, not his nickel operations, the rest of it.
You mean the $500 million of his assets that were frozen for suspected criminal conduct?
Yeah, whichever of those two is less bad. It's also nice to know that he's pro tim-tams.
Everyone's pro tim-tams!
This is what happens when people get their views on politics from a meme page. Except for this one. Their views on politics become a meme in themselves. You know when his nickel refinery started going under in 2015, he siphoned $180 million out of the business so he could tell administrators.
No, look, I can't pay the workers the $70 million I owe them, alright? So it's your problem now.
Clive, where are you calling us from?
Why does that matter?
You know who ended up paying those nickel workers? You. You were hit with a $70 million tax bill to pay for the people that this real-life Dodge mining magnate shyster from Little Elvis Jones ripped off, despite him incessantly bragging that he's worth billions and is so shameless that he's running for a seat where that very refinery is located. And yet a lot of the locals seem to think,
well, I can't remember Clive's misdoings, mate. I can't even remember my own bloody misdoings. I hit the bottle pretty hard after I lost my job at the nickel refinery.
how else could you forget that he's already been in Parliament? It was only a few years ago and his record was abysmal, running on the usual shyster platform of...
all these pollies just waddle into Canberra, sit on their bums and then waddle off. Well, let me tell you something. When I was in Canberra, I was there 6.8% of the time. One of the lowest voting records in history, but that's alright. I work smarter, not harder.
perpetually complaining that...
I mean, what do the Chinese think? That Australia's just one big giant movie world trying to take Australia for a ride?
driving the China angle as he knows there's a portion of the population who will think,
the reason my life's shit isn't because I smoke meth. It's because of the Chinese.
And granted, the Chinese are purchasing an alarming amount of land, and they do have a dangerous amount of control over our natural resources, and Clive best hope that those concerned never discover that one of, no pun intended, the biggest reasons for Chinese influence in our country is...
Oh, that was a pretty easy Where's Wally, wasn't it?
The only mining company in the world willing to partner with Clive Palmer was CITIC. CITIC is owned by the Chinese government, not Chinese investors, the Chinese government. The government Clive Palmer himself has claimed
shoot their own people, haven't got a justice system, or want to take over this country.
Which I don't think he brought up in his meeting with them, where they agreed to spotting billions of dollars to develop a mine that was extremely unlikely to ever turn a profit. And why do you think that is?
Because they're dumbasses.
What's your favourite book again?
Fast and the Furious 5, mate.
The reason the Chinese government was willing to spend tens of billions of dollars on a project they're likely to never even break even on is that now that they control one of the biggest mines in the country, they can shape this country's resources policy to benefit them. And True Blue Clive was the Trojan elephant that let them in.
Elephant? Mate, I'm Australian. Tiddly, please.
Clive can claim all he likes of Rupert Murdoch's ex-wife as a Chinese spy with no evidence to support it, but factually, he's Chairman Xi Jinping's butt boy. For him to complain that
both major parties get donations from the Chinese
is a bit rich when his entire campaign, all his billboards of him looking like the love child of Donald Trump and Big Kev are courtesy of the People's Communist Party. And all he needed to trade for his Jenny Craig model face plastered all over the country was a nice big chunk of this nation's sovereignty that he handed over faster than he did his workers to administrators. So take that opaque flag off of your Paddy's Market's Chinglish knockoff of American pop culture, as you're about as pro-Australian as one of those extremely flammable I Love Oz shirts they sell at Darling Harbour tourist shops, i.e. China made you. What more evidence do you need that he negotiated on behalf of the Chinese government against an Australian government to waive a $250 million environmental protection bond as he loves this country so much that he was willing to put the fate of our wildlife in the hands of China? China. The country that eats dogs. As soon as the bond was waived, CITIC blew up a 3-hectare island the turtles have been laying eggs on for thousands of years because it slightly inconvenienced them to build a causeway, to which Golden Circle's response was,
I'm the real victim of this turtle egg island obliteration. Me, the talking egg. I wanted another environmental bond waived, but now, just like those turtle eggs, scrambled. Scrambled.
He's also claimed publicly on numerous occasions that the Great Barrier Reef is one of our finest national treasures, which, controversial, I personally would have picked Perth Arena. But alright, why then, Clive, have you ignored numerous reports from various agencies that have said that your dams are in danger of spilling millions of litres of contaminated water that is 150 times more toxic than the maximum legal limit straight into the Great Barrier Reef? And yet you don't seem to see the irony in putting a bunch of ads about dams on television claiming that the government should
build some dams, put Australia first, Unite an Australia Party!
To quote what I know Little John would say to that,
What?
your own dam is about to crack, you crackpot. No wonder this man's head is almost perfectly spherical as everything with Clive goes full circle. Repealing the carbon tax was one of, if not the primary reason Clive Palmer ran for Parliament, as like all billionaires who made their billions from destroying the atmosphere, he reckons he's figured out, all by himself, this huge conspiracy theory involving almost every climate scientist on the planet who are trying to make him pay slightly more in tax.
And they thought they could get away with it too.
And it's deduced that even if climate change was real,
Oh, why don't they just put a big lid on volcanoes? They emit more carbon than my mines do.
I wish what was just said was a joke, but that's what he said. There's a reason he's considered a walking meme. Proven further by the time he was about to repeal the carbon tax, Al Gore miraculously,
Opened my eyes, but sadly not my sinuses.
as Clive himself admitted.
Climate change is in fact real. It is man-made. And a carbon tax is the best way to deal with it.
Oh, good. So what are you going to do about the carbon tax, Clive?
Oh, repeal it, mate. I don't want to pay $8 million in tax.
And yet Fatty McFuckhead has the audacity to run on that low blow claim of,
All these fat cat politicians, looking out for themselves.
you became a politician specifically to look out for yourself, you dense Humpty Dumpty. You repealed the best possible way to deal with the most imminent threat humanity has ever faced, and also you personally didn't have to pay $8 million in tax when you're apparently worth $2.8 billion. So Clive, please, switch from loving tim-tams to picnic bars because you're a nutty turd who pretends to be Australian, and in the supermarket of ideas, you're the worst possible choice you could make apart from fruit and nut.
And if you don't smash that like button, Clive Palmer will come to your house and drop a very smelly shit. Please share and comment below. Comment.
I'm saying that's because they're communists, because they shoot their own people, they haven't got a justice system, and they want to take over this country. Because they're communists, because they shoot their own people, they haven't got a justice system, and they want to take over this country. Because they're communists, because they shoot their own people, they haven't got a justice system, and they want to take over this country. And we're not going to let them do it.